Welcome to Illuminating Catholics, podcast of the Diocese of Sioux City. I'm Dawn Prosser, Director of Communications for the Diocese. Together with Carmen Bauer of the Faith Formation Office, we will shed light upon topics of faith in the modern church. Our guests include Catholic clergy, religious sisters, and other experts in their fields to help us understand what's happening in the church today. We will explore issues, even the tough ones, and to find answers to common questions about Catholicism. Thank you for joining us for today's Illuminating Catholics, shedding light to understand the modern church. Welcome back to Illuminating Catholics, and we want to thank everyone for subscribing to the podcast. Had a lot of great feedback recently from some old friends, so I'm just thrilled. Carmen and I are both thrilled that you're listening and getting something out of the episodes that we're producing here. So thank you for joining us again today. And would like to wish a happy Catholic Schools Week to all. This is a week where we celebrate the gift of a Catholic school in our communities. Today, we have students from our only Catholic institution of higher education in the diocese, Briar Cliff University. Both are Bishop Scholarship winners who will give us a glimpse into life on a Catholic university campus and how they're living out their faith at Briar Cliff. So we want to welcome Trey, Jungers, and sophomore Derek Scheuring at Briar Cliff University joining us on Zoom. We didn't make them come out in the cold today to our studio, so thanks for joining us. It's great to have you.
Yeah, no, it's
Thanks for
great.
having us.
Yep.
Awesome. So we're just going to get a little bit of background information on you so people can get to know a little bit about you, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your life on campus and so forth. So Trey, you're kind of from my old neck of the woods. Do you want to share with us where you're from, your high school, and your parish?
Yeah, of course. I'm from, Newell and Fonda. Mom always lived in Newell, dad always lived in Fonda. And obviously I went to Newell-Fonda High School, was involved in a lot of, extracurricular activities and was a part of the OLGC parish. In terms of, anything else, I guess, Don, do you want me to fill you in on anything other than that?
Yeah, would you tell us a little bit about maybe your parish growing up and the ministries you were involved in and when you're still in
Yeah.
high school, junior high?
Yeah. No, growing up, definitely very involved with OLGC. That was made easy. Our director, Dana Erickson at the time, had all sorts of fun stuff to keep the community involved. So, from junior high on, we had religious education every Wednesday night, and obviously we'd do all sorts of Knights of Columbus breakfasts every Sunday, before church. Definitely keeping you involved. I know we often were taking trips to, the grotto, and that's West Bend, I think, or Mallard, one of the
West
two.
Bend.
West Bend, yep. And then going to Mary's Choice, sorting clothes, all sorts of stuff where, you're helping out the greater good in the community, but you're also having some camaraderie and fun while you're doing it as a kid. So definitely very involved in regards to that. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. So now that you're at the university level and you're a junior, so can you tell us a little bit about your field of study at Briar Cliff? What are you studying?
Yeah, so currently finance, actually wrapping everything up here, graduating. And for that, kind of the inspiration, I initially started as finance and accounting, decided that it was purely finance kind of for the field that I'm going into. I sell life insurance, on a full-time basis now. So it was something that really has benefited me, in my career so far.
Wonderful. So, Trey, you were really involved in your parish growing up, obviously, and your parents encouraged that and so forth. So, what was it that led you to choose a Catholic university?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Briarcliff for me, on an initial basis, going to a Catholic, university was always kind of chirped in my ear growing up, from my grandpa and grandma, from, my parents. It was a seed that was definitely planted early. Nonetheless, that seed definitely sprouted and it definitely grew. I understood, the need to enrich, some of my Catholic and Catholic Franciscan values at that. By going to Briarcliff, I know it meant a lot to my family, but on a deeper level, it's something that I was always very passionate about, to be able to excel, in an academic and athletic standpoint, but in doing so, make sure that I'm growing with what matters most, my spirituality and making sure that, down the road, I know how to raise a family, succeed and just live my life.
I should have asked, do you have any family members then that are Briar Cliff graduates?
Yeah, actually, my uncle, aunt, and my mom all went to Briar Cliff. And as a result, I've had some cousins go to Briar Cliff. Second cousins definitely have some family ties to the university. So it would be fair to say at Christmas I was getting razzed a lot, when I was ultimately making my decision.
Did everybody show up wearing Briar Cliff
Well,
sweatshirts and hats and things?
offered to take me to some games, drive me all sorts of stuff just to ultimately get me over the hump.
Yeah, it's all good, clean fun.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that with
Yeah,
us.
sounds like you don't have any regrets either. So praise
No,
God for
no,
that.
none at all. Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Trey, for just sharing with our listeners a little bit about yourself. Now, Derek, can you share with us, where you're from, a little bit about your family and your parish?
Yeah, no problem. My name's Derek Scheuring. I'm from a small town in southwest Iowa called Defiance, Iowa. I did go to Denison High School, and I started at St. Rosa Lima elementary school there, K through 5, and I ended
Yay.
up graduating from Denison. I'm a member of St. Peter's Parish in Defiance, but I kind of flip back and forth between St. Peter's and Defiance, and I also go to St. Rose and Denison a lot as well. I do have four brothers, three older and then one younger. And then I have a mom and dad named Louis and Lisa. So that's a little bit about me.
And where do you fall in the birth order with your brothers again?
I'm third. I'm middle.
Third. Okay, the middle child. I'm also middle in my family, so I'm always giving my parents grief about forgetting me and not loving me as much as, my older siblings or younger siblings.
It's probably true.
Yes, yes. So what are you studying at Briar Cliff and what year are you?
Yeah, so I'm a sophomore majoring in elementary education. It's kind of interesting. I would be a third generation teacher if I did get a job. My grandpa was a teacher, my mom's a teacher, and then if I got a teacher, I'd be third generation. So
Oh, that's awesome. I know that that is takes a special person with a special heart to serve those children in that way, but it's so important for our society to have just really faith-filled teachers and people who are living their faith and just showing them love and care. That's something that's really lacking in our world. So that's excellent. Now, how were you involved in your parish growing up?
yeah, so at St. Peter's in Defiance, I started as a server from third grade all the way up through sophomore year of high school. It was a small town, so it was hard to find help. And I was just about the only youth there. My family was, so we always served. And then obviously at Denison, I served there while I was at elementary school. So it was just an ongoing thing, and it translated to Briar Cliff here. So I participate in mass here a lot as well.
And was Briar Cliff right at the top of your list? Did you know that's where you wanted to go, or was it a little bit of a period of discernment for you to decide your collegiate path?
There was definitely some questionable, like where would I go in my senior year of high school? I didn't know where I would go. I thought I would just be go to Iowa State just like the rest of my family. And but then I started exploring the realm of college football. Where would I go? I got recruited, and then I got accepted for the Bishop Scholarship, and that's what did it for me. That's why I ended up going to Briar Cliff, and it's been wonderful ever since. So yeah.
I'm sure that they're thrilled to have you there. So, did you play football again this year? Are you going to think you'll finish all 4 years with that?
Yeah, yep. So it's been good. Freshman year and sophomore year of football have been great, and I'm looking forward to how I can close out these last 2 years here for football.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm so glad they recruited you. It's great to have young men from our own diocese being built up and sharing their gifts with our own university here. Now, I also went to a Catholic college, so I went down to Benedictine College in Kansas, and I came from a public school background, so it was all new to me. It was almost strange, that first week being able to go to mass with my classmates and things like that. It was really just a cool experience for me to have in my own life. So when you look at your experience at Briar Cliff, going to a Catholic college, what are some of the areas where you see that they're a little bit different than the public schools or even the secular private schools? And what have been the highlights for you to have the opportunity to be on a Catholic and a Franciscan college campus?
Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest things is being able to connect on a faith basis, Um, it's really cool to be able to, see like, oh, I got some friends that go to Iowa State, but they have differences when it comes to religion. And when I come here, I have my friend group that I see at church all the time. And it's kind of cool when you see that. And you don't see that a lot of other places. You really don't.
And Trey, do you want to add your experiences
I
with the
guess just
Catholic
kind of
school?
my experiences, it definitely has been a lot more meaningful, for me, understanding that the values, the Catholic values that is are instilled into, everything I'm doing on campus, whether it be, my education or the camaraderie that Derek kind of speaks of, just understanding that I've found a core group of individuals that are as passionate about their faith, want to grow and, ultimately just continue to try their very best, to be better. And I think, Derek, you speak of your friends at Iowa State. Similarly, I've got friends at some of, the public universities that I don't think have necessarily gotten the opportunity that we have here, just being such a tight-knit campus where we really have, one shared, value, and that is, the love for Christ and the Catholicism that we have here on campus at Briar Cliff.
And I know you both have mentioned, going to mass. Have you been a part of any of the retreats on campus or Bible studies?
Of course, you can't miss them at Briar Cliff.
Can you share with us a little bit about what that looks like?
Yeah. So I guess just to kind of touch on my favorite, there's been an Antioch retreat, which student led, the years that I've been going to Briar Cliff, and it's an absolute blast. And like I said, to find individuals that are as passionate, but also as, energetic, keeping it fun, I feel there would definitely be, a missing part of my college education if I didn't get to experience a retreat like that. And there's all sorts of, super cool stuff I'd love to, share more about. But part of the thing with Antioch is, you're supposed to keep it a secret. You kind of open yourself to Antioch once you officially go. So if you're a student going to Briar Cliff, I definitely advise you go to Antioch. And well, if you don't go to Briar Cliff, you might have to enroll, to just get to experience that. It's pretty awesome.
That's great. How about you, Derek? Have you been involved in anything like that on campus?
Not quite yet. First semester or my second semester here at Briar Cliff on my freshman year, I wasn't quite able to get to Antioch. I had some plans for the weekend, but hopefully this spring I'm looking forward to seeing if I can participate in the Antioch retreat.
Well, then you'll know all the behind the scenes mysteries that Trey can't share with us.
Right. Yep.
I feel kind of left out.
I know I've never been. I didn't obviously have an opportunity to attend that either. So as you look to your future, so in finance and education, what do you think you will bring to the table in the professional world that might be a little different because of your Catholic formation, maybe at home, but because of your parents, but also through your experience at Briar Cliff University?
Yeah, I guess to kind of highlight on that question, I think something that you're getting as a Briarcliff alumni, me specifically, just kind of a strengthened perspective about work-life balance, and understanding that you're always going to get things done the right way. And that's something that I think any future employer, whether it be myself or some other employer that would want to take me on, I think that they can have a lot of faith and confidence that what they're getting with anybody from Briarcliff is going to be somebody that does things the right way, and ultimately is going to lead their life, to make sure that everything is, aligning with their, spirituality. For me specifically, I know that that holds a lot of great value to me. And it has definitely helped me progress in my, industry, just because I'm always making sure that my clients are taken care of, with the utmost, treating them like a family friend is, I guess, a better way to put it. And I think that that'll do a lot of great things for Derek as a teacher and, ultimately everybody. And it's something that I think is unique to here because we ultimately get that value instilled in us in the classroom. It's not necessarily something that's voluntary to learn. It's something that you're going to have to learn to get a degree from Briarcliff.
Derek, do you want to share your thoughts on that? How the Catholic teachings will assist you in future?
Yeah, I just want to from my time at Briarcliff, it's really been amazing to show the connections I've had, whether it was through the football team, how we pray before every game. That really means a lot to me, or through church. And it's just really powerful to see the connections I made. I got a friend who's from Bakersfield, California, on the football team. He's a Catholic, and it's really cool to talk to him. Um, it's just really interesting how it becomes a family at Briarcliff, and it's a faith-led family. We put faith first, and no matter what we do, academics, faith, or obviously in mass at church.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yes, thanks for sharing that with us. So before we get into Briar Cliff Sunday, is there anything else the enrollment recruiter would appreciate? If there's anything else you wanted to add about what's great about Briar Cliff that you want to share with listeners, either encouraging their own children or grandchildren to go or themselves. So
Yeah, no, I would say to kind of add anything, I truly don't believe anywhere else, is going to offer the family, and friendship that Briarcliff has brought me. Now, obviously, it's a very close-knit campus, and I don't even necessarily mean that on a geographic scale. Everybody, knows everybody. Everybody's looking out for everybody. I know you'll make all sorts of friends plucked from all sorts of different groups, and it's really just the salad bowl that has, really satisfied what anything I wanted out of college, but has also prepared me for the next path of life. I feel like I'm enlightened with the relationships I've made with great faculty, coaches, students, and I'm just truly beyond blessed that I was given the opportunity to go to Briarcliff and obtain that scholarship that made it possible, because ultimately it is going to be something that changes my life. So.
great, thank you. Derek, your sales pitch for Briar Cliff.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off what Trey said, it really is a blessing. And the tight-knit community is really what sells it. When you get on a visit here or whenever you come to Briar Cliff, it is like they're welcoming a younger brother into your family. It is truly a friend to friend, family to family connection that you get when you come here. And like Trey said, professors, coaches, fellow players and classmates, they really do welcome you in and they treat you like family.
That's great. Great to hear. So, as both these wonderful young men mentioned, they are both Briar Cliff Bishop Scholarship recipients. They went through a pretty rigorous um, application and interview process to be selected for these scholarships. They're very generous, and they also keep in contact with the bishop because of those. And that being said, this is Catholic Schools Week, as we mentioned. And to cap off the week, we're going to have Briar Cliff Sunday on the weekend of February 1st and 2nd at all of the parishes within the Diocese of Sioux City. So your second collection at your parish, if you're attending Mass at your home parish in the diocese, you can participate in that. We'll also put an online link in the show notes. And I know that the university marketing and development staff are putting out their marketing equipment as well. So we do want to remind parishioners of that. It's a great way to wrap up Catholic Schools Week and to support the Catholic education that's going on at Briar Cliff University on the campus there. So a big part of that collection funds these generous scholarships to bring in fantastic Catholic students such as Derek and Trey that are joining us today. So we'll ask each one of you if you could share with us maybe how important it was to you and your family. And you both alluded to it, but you can expound on it a little bit. How important it was to you to receive this scholarship, how important it was to you and your family. And this time we'll let Derek go first, just to be different.
Yeah, yep, no problem. As I said earlier, I was kind of juggling between a few colleges at the time, in the college football realm, and or if I was just going to go straight to a public school like Iowa State or Iowa, and but ultimately I tried for a lot of scholarships, and I landed on the Briarcliff Bishop Scholarship, and that's what decided it for me. This scholarship has meant everything to me. It's what decided where I'd go, and it was here, and from there it's just been a blessing ever since.
Wonderful. If I remember correctly, cumulative over the time period is about 29,500 and just different amounts at each level. So how was the interview process for you, Derek?
Yeah, so I remember it was a Monday my senior year. I applied for it and they said you could come up to the diocese or you could do it online via Zoom. And I had done the presidential scholarship via Zoom, and I don't know if I really liked it for Briarcliff, the doing it over Zoom. So I decided this one, we didn't have school on that Monday, so I came up to the diocese and I did the interview in person. And it was really cool. It ended up my former principal at St. Rose was Patty Lansing. She was one of the people doing the interview with me. So it was cool to have that connection, and it was a really good interview. I enjoyed every bit of it. It was a little strenuous. It was pretty long, but I really enjoyed it, and getting to talk with those people that held my interview. Matt Thompson was one of them for Briar Cliff. It was very good, and I was confident in that interview.
So no one should be afraid to apply for this scholarship.
By no means.
Right. Okay, Trey, it's your turn. What did the scholarship mean to you and your family? So that, and of course, they were browbeating you to attend Briar Cliff anyway, but do you want to share a little bit with us about that?
Yeah, no, I definitely would say it meant a ton to my family, like a very similar situation to Derek's. I had it narrowed down. I knew Briarcliff was in the picture, had a ton of family ties. Wasn't quite enough for me just yet. And then obviously similar to Derek, applied for the presidential scholarship. I know he went on a day he didn't have school. I was missing all sorts of school going to some of these, I loved. It was awesome. But I remember I had my grandma and grandpa drive me up to the Bishop Scholarship, interview. Nothing to be nervous for. You went in, got home, waited a while, and then I remember, my mom brought a package home, and when I saw the package, I was like, this package would be, too big for them to tell me no, right? Big package. I was like, well, you know what? Let's open it. It was awesome. I saw it. I know I was super excited. I know my mom was super excited. Whole family was excited. That was one of those things where, a group text was made and, had to text the family. Definitely meant a lot to the family. And ultimately, it's what got me into the door at Briar Cliff. And I think anymore, you get somebody to step foot on, Briar Cliff, for just a day, they're going to realize, the special feeling that it really has.
Well, and part of that scholarship experience is that you do get to meet with the bishop periodically. Can you share a little bit about those experiences? What's maybe surprised you about meeting with him and what you've enjoyed?
It's been phenomenal. He's an awesome dude. I get to see him, once every semester at least for a dinner and just really get to, pick his brain in regards to faith, but also get to know him as a person as well. Love to razz him about the Denver Broncos. If you don't know, that's his favorite.
Oh, we know.
Yes.
You
I'm
know,
a Chiefs fan, so I love
Yeah.
nothing more than to give him a hard time about the Broncos.
It's in meetings with Bishop and Carmen.
That's awesome. But no, he's awesome. And that's actually, I think a part that gets underlooked a lot about the scholarship is just the fact that you get to be around, a hyper successful and faithful individual like Bishop Walker. And ultimately that's another just great perk that I think goes under the rug sometimes is that you get to surround yourself with a guy like that, a girl like Renee, and the other candidates that, obviously think very like-minded to you. So that's definitely something I'm glad you brought up, Carmen.
How about you, Derek? What have your experiences been like?
Yeah, I mean, going off of what Trey said, it's really fascinating to the food is really good, but it's really good. It's really good talking with the bishop and getting to know the new scholars and getting to catch up with some of the old scholars like Trey. And it is really magnificent just to be in the presence of Bishop Nicholas. I like talking with him. He's a fascinating individual to talk with, and it's always interesting to see what he has to talk about the faith and his ongoing future with his situation. And obviously, if he's going to get if we're going to get a new bishop with his resignation and all of that sort.
Well, I know that any of us who work in ministry, especially someone like the bishop who does carry quite a weight on his shoulders, I think we all find such life in seeing the faith of young people, especially those who are so dedicated to it. So I can't speak on his behalf, but I'm sure he does treasure that time with you guys, and I bet he is encouraged by that. I know that every time I have an opportunity to meet one of the bishop scholars, I'm always very moved, and I find it to be very touching. Just there are still good hearts, good faithful men and women out there.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, we'd like to thank both Trey Jungers and Derek Scheuring for giving us a taste of what Catholic college life is like today at Briar Cliff. We thank you both so much for sharing your experiences on campus, but also going through that Bishop Scholarship application process. We would always love to have more and more people apply for that. It is such a great opportunity for young people who are considering going on to secondary education. We wish you both the best of luck, and we'll pray for you, especially as you continue your transitions through college and then to the real world. We also want to thank all of those who follow Illuminating Catholics. For all of our listeners, don't miss a single podcast as we have so many great episodes coming up for you, because there is always something to learn about the faith.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Illuminating Catholics, shedding light to understand the modern church. Follow us for more episodes on topics of the Catholic faith. For more diocesan news, visit lumenmedia.org.